I went into a cleaning business, residential and commercial, fully committed to make it successful. Things were going well when we kickstarted, and then it just started falling apart because we didn't have the time or attention to it. And I always had that gut feeling that maybe I don't want to start a business from scratch again. So I should have listened to my guts. Welcome to the Legacy Builders podcast, where we are redefining generational wealth one story at a time. I am your host, Mario Gonzalez Jr., and if you're looking to build something bigger than yourself, then you are definitely in the right place. So I have been running my primary business for about 3 years. At this point in time, about a year ago, this business was not fully operational by itself. And what I mean by that is I still was very much operating in it, training dogs, the whole nine, learning how to train staff. And I was in that transition period where I could hire others and develop leaders and step out of the business, but it wasn't quite there. It was still eating up a lot of my time. And about that time, I had a friend who was focused on getting a real estate license and being a full-time parent, homeschooling, and she wanted to start a side business, right? A different way to diversify her income. So we started looking at different business models. Occasionally we would exchange an idea. It would be good for me, but not for my friend. And we ended up landing on a YouTube channel or a business model where it's like a business in a box. So basically the idea is, instead of paying a franchise fee, you pay something in the range between $5,000 and $10,000. It could be higher than that. And you kind of get a kit. And in this kit, it tells you all the basics: how to set up an LLC, how to set up Google Ads. They have a web page creator for you. So you just come up with a business name, get everything registered. Okay. So we decided to commit to it because the revenue numbers looked really good. We thought the idea of having a remote-based cleaning business was phenomenal because we didn't have to do any of the work. We're the middleman, right? And so all we have to do is hire cleaners, and the cleaners go out and do it all, and we get a cut. Okay, we're both great salesmen, great on the phone, and so we just went for it. Things started very well. We ended up doing $40,000 in our first 3 months of business. We learned how to hire cleaners. We took sales calls. I was very good at ads, setting up ads. So I implemented the Google local service ad strategy, and everything was on the up and up. We were booking jobs. There were times, however, where our contractors, our cleaners, sometimes would call out and we'd have a tough time filling the spot. So we had to roll up our sleeves, go out to a house and scrub and clean and do all the things. And we found that it wasn't all that it was caked up to be, right? Because the original intention of going into this business was that we wouldn't have to get our hands dirty. And yes, we figured it might happen from time to time, but it happened more often than we would have liked to. And then on top of that, we were getting to a point where we were breaking even or losing money because we weren't booking jobs fast enough. And at a certain point, I'd say about 3 months in, and what you have to understand about Google local service ads is that if you're not quick to answer the phone, then they'll stop advertising you. We were busy with our lives. I was focused on transitioning the dog training business from owner operator to where I could be more of the owner role and work on it. Okay. She was focused on cutting hair and homeschooling her kids and getting a commercial real estate license. And we did not have the bandwidth to answer the phone. So every time you answer a phone, it's like a strike against you. And so our ads weren't being showcased. Sometime during, I'd say after the 1.5 month, we hired a virtual assistant. We went through a vigorous interview process. We vetted, we got a really good candidate, and sales would happen without us, but it was only on a part-time basis. And so then there came the evening time, after hours. And I would be taking my kids to Taekwondo. I don't know what she would be doing. We just didn't have time to get to the phone. Okay. And so for that reason, we got too many strikes. Our ads weren't being shown enough. We hadn't built up that referral base enough to where it's all word of mouth. We did advertise to our friends and family and got some business that way. We tried the coupon route, especially during the holidays. We saw a little uptick, even though our ads went down. And it was definitely not a nightmare, but it was definitely a learning experience. We kept one commercial account towards the tail end, which we finally let go a couple of months ago, and we're going to close up shop, dissolve the LLC here at the end of this year. And that's that. It really taught me that, from my perspective, starting a business once from scratch is good enough for me. Going into it, I did want to build another revenue stream. I absolutely did. I'm always thinking about ways to diversify a portfolio. I am not afraid of a challenge or getting into something that I really don't know, because I will learn, right? Some things like laundromats, maybe I don't know that world yet, or other contracting type businesses or pool cleaning. Maybe I might hesitate a little, because I feel like for some of these, it's a very skilled trade, and it's hard to find skilled tradesmen. Cleaners, it's a little easier because there's tons of cleaners out here, at least in the Treasure Valley, that do that for a living. So we're basically filling gaps in their schedule with the cleaning business, right? But as much as I did wanted to succeed, and once I saw dollars rolling in, again, we got $40,000 in our first 3 months of launching. I was like, okay, this looks really good, but it was taking a lot more work than we had originally planned for. And the idea is that we could get it operating by itself, and then grow in the Treasure Valley, and then expand nationwide. Ultimately, obviously, that did not end up happening. So the key takeaway here is, it is okay to try things. However, be prepared to fail. Not all the time. Some of the time. I'm sure we could have got it to work and be 100% absentee. We just didn't have the time for it. So it's really important that you do your research, do your due diligence, make sure that you have the bandwidth and the time and the energy to put into something like that, especially if you're starting something from scratch. If you are okay with the slow crawl, totally fine. Take your time, plan things out, take it a day at a time. The position that we were in was that we needed to make fast cash. We wanted something that could grow and scale really, really, really quick, right? So take what you will from that. I just wanted to share my story on the commercial cleaning business and why I would never start a business from scratch again. Again, it was a really, really good learning experience for me. I don't regret that I did it. However, to each his own. Take it easy. We'll see you in the next one.